Blessed love to each and everyone. Love, joy, happiness. Welcome you into the Tiger's Nest. Give thanks for your presence with us. Yes, as we look to take this to another level at this moment. Blessed love, once again, we glorify the life giver, the keeper of life, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Yes, we do give thanks for such Father, the Son, and the Holy One concept, the three in one and the one in three, the prophet and priest and king, ever so expressed within the heavens. For as the heavens declare the glory of the Most High, and of course, the sun and the moon and the stars, even the clouds, declare the handiwork thereof and the majesty thereof. And we see the great serpent holder, of course, with the Hercules, and of course, with the Sagittarius, the archer, fulfilling such prophecy, even that which is historical now amongst us. Again, within such theological realms of the prophet and the priest and the king. The Honorable Priest Isaac here, and I really pray that you have a moment to spend with us at this time. I mean, I don't intend it to be too long or even long at all. We'll try to make it concise as possible, as we always really try to do. But it's somewhat of a special moment, and a lot has happened, and many things have gone through the earth. Of course, this really, at this time, is actually the 7th day into our Lenten period. And if this is the first time you're joining us, give thanks. You're in the Tiger's Nest. I am the Honorable Priest Isaac. I am honored that I could be your host as bring forward such a reasoning. As I am saying now, this is the 7th day into the Lenten period. And just as we did previous year, we promised that we would have had a special, even a programming coming to you as it relates to the Lent. I know that some would have revisited even programs that we would have done previous year again, as it deals with the subject, the Lenten period and the Lenten time. But what it is, we obviously have been absent for a while now, and we obviously did not present ourselves to, the upcoming Lent. And I know many ones who are looking forward to such. And let us first, ask for your understanding, as we were not in that position at all to present ourselves at that moment the way that we planned. But what I would like to say, though, just to give you an idea, sometimes the conversation amongst us, and when I say us, those who tune in, at least for a while now, and so sometimes we bring things closer to home, maybe just to make a point, I don't know, whatever the case may be. So you would have heard me say maybe twice or three times, twice or thrice, that there are at least 4 times, well, 4 specific times that I can count for sure that I have come face to face with death. Maybe there are more times than I didn't even know, because I have a goody God. People say bodyguard. I have a goody God that makes I untouchable. I mean, that's just what it is. I'm sorry if you feel away for that. But what I'm saying is that, yeah, therefore, I'm sure you yourself can pull up some scenes where you say, well, I mean, and really, and as I say, I hope you have a moment with us this evening. All right, really, and we will be speaking about the Lent. In fact, we have some high vibes to get into, you know what I mean, and to show how the connection is really, with the Haile Selassie. We have so many things to touch upon. Please don't run away at all, at all, at all. So I'm just showing you that even lately, contemplating and looking into these 4 episodes in my life, from a very young child, young, to a couple of years ago. Yeah. So looking into these 4 specific events, I came to realize that, hey, they have more than them, just those 4. But those 4, the position that let's say I was in, nah man. You have to be like how Buju Banton say, I had a close one yesterday. Yeah, Jah put an angel, it's one of them kind of things. As I said, there are other times, there was a time I got in an accident, and I might flip the haters. I run into the windshield. He maybe say, oh, I know something wrong. Yeah, windshield crack. Like a spider web. Yeah. Had a full head of hair. A long time, man. Long. Full head of hair. Like them high top kind of thing, but it's real kind of hard. So, yeah, man, that could have worked as a pillow for sure. That's not even one of the times I'm talking about. That's what I'm trying to show. That's what I'm trying to show. Once I was driving and this is in an area in St. Lucia, passing an area named Denry, and I know all the St. Lucia and Ghana now. And so this is between an area named Denry and before you come to what they call the prison there, Borderley prison. So it's going up a sort of winding hill, and then it goes around the corner. So going up the hill now, nobody else on the road. When I say nobody else, early morning, nobody else, just nobody else for minutes too, because I had to make a stop. Going up the road, please bear with me. Going up the road. And I mean, trust me, man, I ain't got to tell you no lie. I wasn't speeding. In fact, it was like a meditation drive. So I know grand mechanic, but whatever happened, because I know for sure it wasn't no slippery road, nothing. But so the vehicle just started to sway. Now, anyone that know that area there in St. Lucia, you know I gone up some high mountains now. And down below me is the seawater. Rocks, well, you know how it is when, water splashing against rocks. Yeah. So the thing start to sway. Now, when you go through that sort of meditation, you tend to, like, as if time slows down. Nobody can tell me time don't slow down. I mean, I've been through that enough time. Yeah, see, where it's as if you have an extra moment to make a wise decision. Like, okay, what are you going to do? Let me see. What's the best option here? Running into something or dropping off or something. And let me see. I wonder if it's as if you have that time. I know you know what I'm talking about. You understand? So it was a case like that. And the vehicle slid, going towards the cliff. And went on its side sliding, going through like a short bushel and catching up on a tree, extending out above the ocean. So in other words, I could have just looked up and see the rest of history for me. And I just cool and calm, I telling you the truth, just came out the other door and just sat down on the side. And that is why I could say nothing passed for minutes. And then, the rest is history. Somebody came and, let me leave it at that. That is one of them 4 cases where I am sure, man. I mean, I gotta give thanks and praise for that tree. When that tree sprang out of the earth, trust me, as a little, a little thing there, we call them stuff there, little slip, whatever, to grow into that heavy, thick tree, to hold that vehicle there, so I could be here saying all the things I'm saying up to now. How long ago was that? My daughter was in the womb at that time. So I'm just saying all of that to say, and interesting, it's somewhat around the topic that we will be speaking of. I'm just saying all of that to say that previous Tuesday, which is the 16th day of February, going into the Lenten period, I had what I consider the 5th episode in my life. No, ain't no car accident, no. But I'm telling you, well, trust me, man. As I said, you were looking for me, weren't you? I'm here now. I don't think I could have been here yesterday, the day before, even the Wednesday for the Lent. Don't worry, man. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. Just trust me, I'm blessed. One day, just like I gave you that story there, one day, I'm sure, one day, could be decades from now, but one day, it's worth telling. Maybe now is not the time, but it's worth telling. And keep in mind, it's not just worth telling, but it's directly connected with the Almighty God. That is the vibration thereof. Now, so I am sure, pardon that, for sure, that on that day, it was Tuesday, that I definitely easily, I would be just not here to say a thing to you. But that was not the will of the Most High at all. But as I said, everything is quite in tune and well in tune. Let's put it that way. And one must consider these things too, the Lenten time. The Lenten, and let me repeat too, before I go into all of that, your brother is blessed. Don't worry, nothing happened, like nobody abused me, nothing. I'm blessed. Just take it from me, time will tell when it comes the right time. But it ain't no right time now, trust me. It ain't no right time. I wish it was the right time. It ain't no right time. Give thanks to the Honorable Prophet Rastafari. So, but still, as I said, the Lent, and then even before we go into that, and I must say too, and that's why I know you have to be prepared to spend some time. Let me give thanks for specifically, those who are with us, the subscribers to the Shock of the Hour who reached out, obviously. Um, give thanks for the strong concern. Let me also bless up one brother Ian, who actually sent forward. He actually put a physical, financial strength, you know, after, because we send our subscribers a message so they understand, well, may not, they may actually have a deeper understanding of what happened, but yet still far from still understanding what happened, but the, he actually sent forth a physical financial strength, so I like to be thankful for that. Straight up, it's not like it's, let me be clear, give thanks, my brother, thanks, I'm very thankful. um, but I'm clear again, that is not something that is needed, to be honest, straight up. People always say, how you know what I mean? Was that money there for that? $50. Yeah, see, now, don't say nothing more. Interesting, eh? She just come and put some money on the table. That's how the spirit works. And that's from a different transaction. So she's actually just putting the money there, but that's just internal vibration. But I'm just showing you how we're speaking of the money, and at the same time, because it's just the timing how it came in there. So in reality, give thanks, my brother, for that love there. We're not encouraging no one to do that. I'm telling you the truth. What I encourage you to do is to patronize our products. We don't even play around with that. If you listening and hanging around and you haven't bought a book, if you're not a subscriber, man, you wonder if I got nuts on but you ain't gotta send us no money. We don't need no donation. I'm telling you, trust me, it's all right. We will push all of our products and our services and encourage people to be strong business man and woman here. And of course, give thanks for all those who have already, very few, who have put in their application as such for Mind Your Business, which is the business program that is coming on stream. Of course, it has not garnered the interest that I would want it to garner, you know what I mean? And I said that clearly before we started. And plus, even if you go to the videos that we speak of business, like when we announced that these videos, you would have the least of views. So you could see the people in general, far away from that thinking. So those few of us that seem to be interested, it's all right. We are going to work it and work it. Give thanks. I consider all of you who have sent in, your business logos, ideas, and advertisements. Don't worry, it's well sealed off, and we'll be getting to that for sure. And encourage those who are listening, because everyone is a business really. So I'm thankful again to all those ones as well, and those who have reached out to me. And let me say too, this is very important. If a person directly wants to reach out to me, it is my email, as I've expressed, is the thing. If me personally, now sometimes you see different flyers and different things that may come up on the screen, and you may see numbers, and as I said, several businesses operate here. Specifically, this is the Precise Institute of Holistic Knowledge. Also Rastafari Experience Antigua. So whatever you see, you contact us, but please don't be over disappointed because it's not me directly you see, just because you may have seen a number on the screen. I'm so that's the point I'm making. But if you want me directly, you want to, I know it's me gonna answer you, It's the specific email, priestisaac27@gmail.com. That's how it is for the moment. Also, so give thanks again for all those well wishers, and we are directly blessed. I think you obviously see we're under the Lenten meditation here. So we'll be having a wonderful lecture given by the Right Honorable Priest Kailash Leonce, and this will be Saturday, the 6th of March, 2021. So this is an online lecture, healthy living for both male and female, especially in this so-called COVID time. Listen, to all the subscribers, we have a wonderful, the Shock of the Hour subscribers, we have a wonderful program that we'll be sending to you with Brother Shango. I mean, you'll need to hear this. This is a marvelous program that is done with Brother Shango, directly dealing with the whole COVID-19 situation, and a specific doctor that he brought forward. I mean, this is something else. But for sure, healthy living for both male and female. And the presenter, once again, is the Honorable Priest Kailash Leonce. And this will be an online lecture. The date, Saturday, the 6th of March, 2021. And the time will be 7:30 p.m. That's Eastern Caribbean time. And that's 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think that's like New York time. Should have the British time there, you know, but I think that let's not guess it out. All right, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, that's 11:30 British time. But stay up, you can, and you know, you could stay up for this. This is some important stuff. The admission is only 25 United States currency dollars. In fact, you could pay 20 United States dollars if you desire, but you definitely got to get your ticket, that's your electronic ticket, before Saturday, the 27th day of February. So you still got some time to decide what you would like to do. Get your health questions answered. Okay, so for those of you who are accustomed to coming to our webinar, lecture hall, you know the whole routine. You definitely, well, for sure, you have the chat room, as they call it. So for sure, you can ask your questions there. But there's a special room that is prepared for the questions directly, you know, dealing with the subject. And depending on the crowd and the conversation, you can even vote on a question instead of asking the same question again. You see a question that, hey, that's the question I wanted to ask. You just vote on the question. So all of that is there. So the Honorable Priest will be also answering your question. He'll be making a very small presentation, and then it's open to you. In fact, when you pay for your ticket, you can actually submit a question which we will give to him beforehand. So even in his presentation, he can address your question right away. Very good. Of course, if you have Cash App, for sure, you could definitely make such payment. Atom Ra 2723. And if the Cash App is a concern, you could email us, priestisaac27@gmail.com. Many ones ask of the Lenten period as it relates to, you know, how to fast, when to fast, and different things. Now, as I said, I was hoping also to have specific ones from the Congress that would come and sit with us. I must say, and let me be clear, the Honorable Priest Chris already gave his word. But interestingly, well, where he is, well, he said where he was the last time he was here, so I don't think it's a problem. Where he is in Texas, there was a snowstorm that came through. I'm sure everyone knows what was going on in Texas. And then again, I wouldn't even be in the position to do that. So that's the next story. We intend to have the Honorable Priest Westmore, that's Priest Richie, with us in short order, you know, very short order, hopefully, maybe even tomorrow, you know, so we could get certain details in that I'm not even going to go into, you know, so you just gotta forgive me, you know, because I would prefer ones who have been in it longer, ones who have been in the whole fasting arena with King Emmanuel himself to kind of come and expound, because there are a lot of things, that one seems to guess along with. Now, basically, what I know I could say again, this is a moment of the Lenten period, um, fasting and praying called 40 days and 40 nights. And how it is within the Bobo Shanti order, the main fast is the cup fast. And the cup fast is really done in the tabernacle settings. So many ones do keep up the actual structure of the cup fast, but it's not necessarily kept in the tabernacle settings, because it's actually fasting and praying. That is really what is taking place. So what would happen is that the service from the morning, of course, you have the regular Psalms reading and morning devotion, and this starts at 5:30. And for those who, because everybody that listens is not as if it's the world above Ashantis, many kind of people tuned into the tiger's nest. So just to be clear, again, what we're speaking of is the annual period of fasting and praying that the world refers to as Lent, really. And the Bobo Shanti order aligns its fasting and praying with that same from Ash Wednesday to Good Friday. So Bobo Shanti take up that sacred act every year. So I'm just giving I would say, a quick rundown on the level of fasting and how one's fast, because I know it's very important to a lot of ones who have been inquiring, really. That's the point too. So at the same time, as I said, the morning rise, the Psalms reading from 5:30 going up until 6, morning devotion from 6 until 8, and the service, the fasting service goes up until midday, and then the service comes down. That means it comes to an end. And the fast is broken in the tabernacle. And this is almost like a skeleton, because when others come on the program, as I said, they're those who have given their word. I should have priest Kumi with me as well too. And yes, a few ones. It's going to be a grand time still. So you get a better comprehension. So they will put more meat on the bones as such, and because basically that is what happens in the tabernacle. It's a whole procedure. That's the meat on the bones. I can't give you the full procedure there. Many ones that is of this order never got you none of that. Them is things that happen. Time of the black rise. The ones that will tell you they see a wash food tradition already. Of course, ones do it but late, resurrecting it here and there. You will see it on the internet, but that ancient tradition of the wash food tradition was a regular thing, isn't it? So there's so many different things. And so the fast now, remember, this is a Congress communal living. This is very important. And within this Congress communal living now, you have ministries. So you have, and up to now I'm talking, you have ministries where you have the kitchen staff who would be preparing the meal. And at the same time, you have individuals that are dealing with, the royal courts itself. So it's never lacking of individuals. So while the service is going up, you don't have to really wonder about, boy, I got cook a pot now. And no, the pot is being cooked by the royal kitchen staff. That is the vibration thereof. So all of that is very, very important when we meditate the whole science of the Lent and the breaking of the fast, because at 2:00 the fast would begin. A horn is actually, the horn shell is blown, and the fast would actually begin again. So that is the next science all to itself. No eating, until midday. So that cycle has gone through. You may have a service in the evening. And of course, you could see I'm speaking more of a communal living. And then you rise in the morning and you back at it again. Of course, fasting service is white. I would imagine a fasting service, I would have to ask one of the priests that live it. I would imagine if fasting service is going up every day, it would be white every day. It sounds like just white all the way, because white is the fasting color. And we wear white when we fasting, Monday and Wednesday, and black over white on Friday, and of course the Sabbath white. So I'd imagine if it's, but I would have to ask as well. There's a science of course, the chalice, when you partake of the chalice. Well, not the chalice. Well, the chalice, of course. I'm the chalice. Chalice is what we deal with. Maybe somebody else, I don't know how you go with them, but the chalice. So really, when you partake in the morning, when you're doing the cup fast, you don't partake again until after you break the fast. We have to partake before the sun rises. You know what I mean? Like, so you burn the cup before Psalms reading, and then after Psalms reading, you well, you don't burn the cup again, because I already show you what you're doing for the day. You don't burn the cup again until the evening. So not the evening, pardon me, until you break your fast. Until you break your fast, you can burn a cup or whatever. That's it. I guess it's, you know what I mean, full throttle all the way you want. But to the science. Now that is really, one may tell you, well, that is because you know, you're gone into the full churchical order. So a man really have no time to burn no cup in the church. But since we're not really in the church, we don't have to keep up that part, man. You can just burn it if you're keeping the cup fast. So. So I'm just showing you what I want would say, pardon me for that. And I like to bring different point of views. I would say that Priest Jaman, yeah, Priest Jaman, Honorable Priest Jaman. I would love the Honorable Priest Jaman to come and sit with us too, you know. If you're hearing me, Honorable Priest Jaman, you gotta come and sit in the nest. And Honorable Priest Jaman said the Honorable Priest Earl was carrying a Nyabingi service there, rocking, you know, going on terrible. And he said King Emmanuel will come out on his porch. And when King Emmanuel looked down and he started rock coming down the step, rocking, taking his time, Nyabingi hitting, rocking, until he reached to just outside the tabernacle. His priest Jaman showed me this. And he said to King Emmanuel said to Priest Earl, go and burn 2 chalice and come again. And the Honorable Priest Earl, go and burn a chalice. I actually asked him, a chalice, I think it's a chalice. We have to get it clear from the Honorable Priest Earl too. And he said that, come on the service, turn up more. I said, well, if it's a chalice, it burn. And the man said, burn 2, and it's still turn up. Maybe the earth would have opened that night. But you know, just showing you, you know, the reality of the man still, and you know how powerful such vibration is. Plus, Priest Earl was carrying the service, and he come off of the altar to go and burn a pipe. So the reasoning that is the smoking after, you know, during the fasting period I'm talking about in the morning. So the reasoning that, listen to me good, the reasoning that because service is going on, that's why we didn't smoke, but because everybody's supposed to be in service. Okay, someone wasn't in, you can't, the guard did, the guard was, okay, hold on. But because service not really going on universally like before, and everyone in their own little space and man going to work and so on and so forth, I hear you, listening to you. I'm free to burn. No, I'm not saying you're not. Believe me, I'm not saying you're not. You know, I actually keep up that, Just, I wake up early and I burn. I wake up 4 o'clock in the morning specifically. My meditation time from 4:30 to 5:30. And I leave it at that until the fasting come down for Lent. There's no grand tabernacle thing going on here, neither. Even though we're tabernacle and gates and fence surround, it's not, it's almost like, it's not like the golden days. Let's put it there, like that. But the point is, when you go into science, there are ones that tell you still that the morning time going up until the midday is not the time to partake of the marijuana. If you notice, there's a principle we have about that for the Sabbath, said we. There's not many ones of the Congress keep that up at all, wherein you don't partake of the marijuana again from 10 the night before, the Friday night, until the ending of the Sabbath, which is a different realm altogether by itself. But that have its reason too. Somebody nearly burned down some house, and yes, all of that may be true, but there's a science in all of these things, a heavy science, deep science. Why do some scientists say you should not burn the ganja during the day? The secretion of melatonin and serotonin. And the melatonin is in the evening, and the ganja encourages that. The serotonin is in the day, and ones believe that the ganja will somewhat, what was the word? Be antagonistic to the development of the serotonin, because now it's like doing something in the day that's supposed to be done in the night, something of that effect. That's good argument. That is good argument. Before I knew all of this within the Bobo Shanti order, as a young Rasta, I did stop smoking in the day. I had a brethren there named Jaweb. Jaweb said, what are you doing? I had bought up by It's a good brother, eh? Good brother. And this man that fear the king. Good brother Jaweb. Rastafari. Fear the king. Give thanks to man when they see man fear the king. Yeah. But going in and going into it now, as I said, never see that until within the Bobo Shanti order. During the Lent time, you keeping the cup fast, nobody smoking in the morning. Interesting stuff. No Lent, regular time, you shouldn't be smoking for the whole Sabbath day until the evening. And that has a level of something being replenished too. That has a strong level of something being replenished. Yeah. You think burning and smoking need a fast too. They fast every Sabbath. That sounds like something being replenished. The man order perfect. I'm telling you, the man order is perfect. So, and since we mentioned chalice as well, let me say that even within that, there's so many things happening. And before we get to also this subject here, I know we're talking about many different things, but this is what I said we had to touch upon. Of course, this is important here. Of course, that we have been speaking a lot of the spring equinox coming up. Well, let me just give the official word that we have officially canceled the equinox in its literal sense, as far as you coming here. Let's put it that way. Too many things are going on here. I mean, I'm looking forward for you to hear that program with Brother Shango. I mean, this whole planet right now is on a mad frenzy. I'm telling you, people, check yourself. We just trust me. They're up to many things. Imagine a one telling you that the vaccine is not a vaccine. Imagine that the vaccine is not a vaccine. What did the doctor call it? A gene transmitting something. When the subscribers, when you hear the program, you see the vaccine is not a vaccine. So they use the term because you can't sue this and that for death by vaccine. And so it's a dread thing going on, people. The population, 2,000 and all of that. It's a dread thing going on. No, it's not talking time, eh? No, it's not talking time. And plenty people talking. How many doing? Check yourself. Well, I lose my job. Bastards. Yeah. So we are still promoting the virtual edition. Don't worry. Come and sit with us, man. The 21st of February passed already specifically. So you still have until the 1st of March to get your space for $100. That is for the full virtual package, talking about the spring equinox, but I'm not going into that really. I just had to even mention that as it relates, since we're talking about smoking really, as it relates to the chalice, a few ones have been asking of the chalice, of course, or the chalices. And because of the same COVID-19 scatter around here, things have changed dramatically overnight. We're in a state of emergency. Well, we've been in that for a while, I think. The curfew has tightened up. That's what's going on in these little islands here. The curfew, meaning you cannot come out of your house until 5 in the morning, and you gotta be in by 6 in the afternoon. Yeah, man, you get arrested and tickets and all of that for being out. And so this is why we had to postpone this event for sure on that level. We're still doing it. We're still having the double hike. We're still having the marijuana tour. You're going to see it virtually, you know what I mean, crisp and clear, wonderful and mighty. And you're going to, you know, well, it's not going to be like if you were here, but you're definitely going to be full join it. You might just be with the Rastafari alone because everybody around here is scared to go outside. I'm telling you, it's something else. That's how they have the place operating. So for sure, I'm definitely looking forward for those of you who will be on board with that. Again, for those with the, as it relates to the chalice, again, we had a few ones who have been requesting their orders within a strong or so. We will be looking to shipping these out to those who would desire. If you still would like the chalice, still contact us. We will have to put you on wait. When I say on wait specifically, we're not collecting any finance for nobody for no chalices yet. That's how the place is running. I mean, all of these different places are shipping out the stuff, you know, boxes, and so post office locking down. I mean, the thing is haywire. That's the point I'm making, you know, but I'm telling you, you still request your chalice if you desire your chalice. And we will definitely put you on a list, which we have people on a list already. And then when the time is right, we will tell you all systems are go, and definitely that will be going forward for sure. All right, bless up brother Andrew as well. Definitely looking forward to see, because I know ones have been looking for the chalice for Lent. And don't take it simply, you know. The word quarantine literally means 40 days and 40 nights, really. Interesting stuff, I would say. You know, the real passion of Lent is the passion of Christ. Is my lighter. The passion of Christ is really the whole Lenten vibe.
The whole Bobo Shanti theory is that Christ was crucified. Eh? Yeah, man, I know Rasta don't talk about crucified. The reality is, this is how the Bobo Shanti version of the story goes. And all of this happened in Egypt, Jamaica. Yeah. Now, the Bible did say that Christ was crucified in Egypt. Yeah. Revelation say, yeah, the place that's spiritually called Egypt, and Sodom, where our Lord was crucified, or Sodom and Egypt, where our Lord was crucified, spiritually called. Exactly. So in Egypt, Jamaica, according to the story that we have here, the Christ was, they hung him on a Tuesday. Nobody find it like that? Yeah, I gotta get a fire. Go ahead. They hung him on a Tuesday, and if not, yeah, very important. Yeah, we gotta keep the fire burning. And he didn't die. Now, we did a program already where we showed, give thanks, the young people in the Shaolin temple putting their neck around the noose and they're hanging there for a good while, minutes. People can do that for minutes on end. It's a technique. I would expect the Christ to be some master in some level of technique where he can do what these little lads have been doing. So it says the Christ was hung on a Tuesday and he didn't die. So according to the law of the land at that time, when a man didn't die, when you hang him, you're supposed to let him go. And he was crucified the Wednesday, went into the tomb the Wednesday, and resurrected the Friday to keep his Sabbath. I'm not going to go no more into that. Someone is going to come on this program and explain that more to you. What I want to talk about is the meaning, the essence of this. You see, there is a Messiah that comes amongst us, has come, he's here, will come. Because remember, the Messiah dwells within all things, because the Messiah represents God. It's a deep science, but there is the Messiah. Now, when you observe the Master of Ceremony, that's our DVD documentary, one of the things we push in the Master of Ceremony is that the whole vibration of the Italian war with the Italian-Ethiopian war is symbolic of many aspects of the crucifixion, of going into the Amenta, and of course the resurrection. Going into the Maya, the watery world, from the 5th of May, Cinco de Mayo, from the 5th of May to the 5th of May, 36, 19 to 41, 1936 to 1941, 5th of May to the 5th of May. We use that science to show that this is symbolic of the 5 bleeding wounds that Christ bore. Christ is said to have borne 5 bleeding wounds. It's not religion, really. It's high science, because we have highlighted the Southern Cross, one of the most beautiful constellations out there, neat and nice, with the 5th bleeding wound in her left side, Epsilon, while the false cross, the one in the ship, has the 5th bleeding wound in the right side. We've covered these things. So the king kissed the cross. This is a high science. I mean, come on. It's seen on the oldest religious writing. The pyramid text of Unas, you see the cross, whatever it means, you see the cross. So I'm just showing you now that the symbol given to it as such, crucifixion as such, but it's resurrection too. And if you understand, listen to me good, eh? If you understand what was at stake when Emperor Haile Selassie I had to address the League of Nations, Now I'm sure I'm speaking to the choir. And if you're new, we have so many things that preceded this video here that, trust me, you can check it out. But we're not going to labor on certain points that we've covered so many times in a circle and a circle and in a circle. Good to refresh yourself, but we got to advance now. We got to advance now. The emperor, during the time when he addressed the League of Nations, when we really comprehend what was going on, yes, we all know all the African countries at one time or the other, was robbed of a certain level of independence and or colonialized. Even Liberia, I know people try to put it with Ethiopia, but the politics is not the same. For sure. Come on, the politics is not the same. So Ethiopia stands out not just as an African country, but as a country in the world. I think there's only one other country that was never colonialized. One of those South, no, not North, one of those South Asian countries. I'm sorry I mentioned it, I can't pull it out. If it's not Malaysia, I'm real sorry, but I'll find out and bring that back because I came across that information. One of those countries that have two names. Oh man, I'm sorry that I didn't get that. But anyway, so when it comes to Ethiopia, though, at that time, we have to comprehend that the loss of independence for Ethiopia would have closed the door on the colonialization of Africa. That would be it. And practically the world. As I said, it's Europe really that didn't, it was Europe doing the colonializing. In fact, Europe colonialized some of Europe too. Really, when you really look at all of it like that. So when Haile Selassie appeared before the League of Nations, and he spoke to them about what was taking place in Ethiopia, and of course the audience should understand how it came to that point. Haile Selassie, in his wisdom, his wise mind, the dome of wise mind, the wisdom, he brought Ethiopia into the League of Nations even before he was emperor. And bringing Ethiopia into the League of Nations at that time as Rastafari. Now he became emperor in 1930. And remember, the League of Nations was really the League of Europe. Yeah, but they had certain protocols and standards. Article 16, as we showed you, Asa cut into 16 pieces. Article 16, which speaks specifically of collective security, supposedly for surety. That was the article that was ripped into. That was the article that the emperor addressed in our book, the heavens declare the glory. We show you the science in Kemet that shows Asa cut into 16 pieces. I know some will be saying 14, but I mean, we clarify that. We can't spend 5 minutes on that now, but you can read the book and see that in the book, the heavens declare the glory, Rastafari and the cosmos, because Haile Selassie represents the Asa, the character Asa in mythology. And that's the power of our mythos. It's prophecy. So the Asa has come in flesh. The same Asa that 72 came at the coronation, that same Asa who was cut into Article 16 pieces, that same Asa that spent exactly 5 years in the underworld, that same Asa that came out and became Sahu, the Orion constellation, that same Asa in flesh is Emperor Haile Selassie I. So the exact 5 years in the underworld again is the 5th of May, 1936 to the 5th of May, 1941. Anybody can run from that, Just me. The 5th day and the 5th month too. 5 bleeding wounds. So when you comprehend what took place within that time frame, study that. Study what happened from the 5th of May, 1936 to the 5th of May, 41. Atlas is the man that carried the world on his back. Again, when the emperor stood before the league, that's the fulfillment of Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 10. Yeah, when Zephaniah said that the Lord shall gather all nations, there ain't no spooky vibe, no voice coming out of the cloud. Ooh, no, he gathered all, the League of Nations is something name. He gathered all nations to pour out his indignation. You know, hey, listen, you can't run from this. Zephaniah said the Lord shall speak unto them in a pure language. And we all know the emperor spoke in Amharic, and not just to speak in Amharic, it was almost against the rules to speak in Amharic. Because remember, that is the first and only head of state that has addressed the League of Europe. The only head of state to address the League of Nations is the African member. That's, come on, that's something else. And he spoke in an African tongue, which is against protocol. I shall address them in a pure language. Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 10 is verse 10. Where's Zephaniah chapter 3? Thereabouts, read it. And here it is. From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, this is where the language comes in, right? The daughter of my disperse, my suppliant. Suppliant means the people that I plead for, which is exactly what was going on there. And the daughter of my disperse. Disperse means those who are scattered. I mean, them is what you call on-point scriptures. I mean, think before you just throw it in the rubbish. Eh? I understand how you feel, but think before you just throw it in the rubbish. So I'm just saying to my holy family here now, when you understand, you know, what is taking place during that time, the weight that was on the shoulder of the king, man. Remember, the king was on the battlefield, eh? The battlefield, licking shot and bringing down planes. So it's not as if, yeah, this is just talking shop. And after months of heroic on the front line, the best dressed soldier, officer, sunshades and so on, the king licking shot, pow, in your head. Yeah. But I mean, the League of Nations were ganging up with Mussolini. You know, for the academics that are, to be, those who may be listening and have to do a report for college, his name is Mussolini, but we just Mussolini around here. Yeah. They were ganging up with him, embargo on both countries, as if that can help Ethiopia. Yeah. So what happened really, it was a heavy time, of course, on the whole of Ethiopia. But I mean, heavy is the head that wear the crown. Heavy is the head that wear the crown. And I'm saying, all of that really in some level of conclusion, because I want to read for you the epic that really covers that period of time. You can call it an epic. But really, it is the autobiography of Emperor Haile Selassie I, volume 2. And it is chapter 6 that we will be reading from, and the message we sent to the American people on the BBC. Please follow me here quickly as we look to conclude. While we were in England, we befriended many people. And in December 1937, on Christmas Day, Christmas Day, received more than 1,000 letters and many Christmas greeting cards from America. The Americans asked us to make a radio speech in order to identify our supporters and thank them all. Thus, with Atto Wolde Girugis Wolde Johannes and Atto Ephraim Te Wolde Medhin, we left Paddington Station by taxi for the BBC studios. On our way, the taxi had a collision. On our way, the taxi had a collision in which we fractured our knee bone. Now, we don't mean him and Wolde Girugis Wolde Johannes and Atto Ephraim Te Wolde Medhin. We mean he. That's how the emperor speaks in that Trinity vibe. Well, that's how I see it. We, but he's talking of he. It's interesting in his translation. So when you hear we, it's he talking about. So on our way to the taxi had a collision in which we fractured our knee bone and suffered great pain. We were in such pain that several of the party pleaded with us to abandon the broadcast and return home. We refused, however, to go back before we had fulfilled our objective, and enduring the pain, we continued our trip to the radio station. There, we delivered the speech expected of us. Soon after we finished the program, we telephoned a physician living in the district known as Harley Street to get treatment. But we were told that he was not at home. Then we telephoned to the home of our friend, Sir Sidney Barton, but no one was there either. Sir Sidney Barton had been the British Minister Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary to Ethiopia before the Italian invasion. He worked relentlessly to make the problems and hardship we faced a great matter of great concern for the British governor, and exerted much effort to get the Foreign Office to help us. While still suffering from the pain of the accident, we left the radio station for the hospital for the sick children on Great Ormond Street, where our daughter, Princess, how do you pronounce this? Tishai?
Sehai.
Oh, that's how it's pronounced. Sehai, give thanks, was practicing nursing. The hospital had earlier invited us to celebrate Christmas with them. And so, as to delight our daughter and honor the invitation, we endured the pain. We endured the pain and attended the party. So you get what's going on. So the king now, what the king is showing you, you get the story. He leave him and the crew and get in a accident. The man fracture his knee bone. Yeah. Anybody can pull up the picture with the emperor limping. Anybody can pull up the picture with the emperor limping. You even see the emperor at the BBC. That picture is there. We have it right here. With the emperor at the BBC. The emperor is a man of that sort of level of dignity. Fracture his knee bone and he walk up to you like if everything all right. We were in great pain. We were in great pain. Now it may sound strange, everybody get pain, you know. Everybody may get a fracture and so and so. But listen, and I'm going to use this example for you. When you watch The Passion of Jesus Christ with Mel Gibson, trust me, I don't believe the real Jesus even go through half of what he go through in that movie. But the point is that just put Jesus in the sense that people speak of Jesus. I know some of you don't like to hear it, but I mean, I know what I say. Just allow me. What he supposedly bore, the Jesus character, no matter how harsh it was, I'm sure somebody else somewhere bear something harder than that. Is not who get the most pain. Is who got pain specifically. This is the sense of the allegory. You know? Listen to me good. This is the sense of the allegory and the science of the allegory. Is that who was he going through this pain for? The pain wasn't just the knee being fractured. You know? The knee being fractured is symbolic of a greater pain that he was going through at that time. The Atlas carrying the world, not just Ethiopia, the world, and freedom on his back. You talk about Christ bearing the cross for the sins of people. Well, I'm telling you, he can't get no bigger than that there. If it's some story you're giving me, I would work with the emperor. When the emperor was in exile, my brother and sister, again, that was the carrying of the cross, the 5 bleeding wounds. You'd look up in the taxi. TA's tar is the cross. Even the X, the cross, taxi, taxi. Went to check the physician, went to this, hey, listen, I'm going to do my interview. And then he went and sat with the children, and I'm sure the king smiled, and hey, that's the king for you. It's my king. The following text of the speech, the full text, pardon me, of the speech we broadcast that day to the American people was as follows. Okay, let me see. I don't know if we're going to hit all, but I know the key points here. Hear this. I am very pleased to send you words of my best wishes for your happiness, progress, and peace on this blessed day for mankind from the capital of Great Britain, which is renowned for its hospitality. Let peace reign in your hearts, among your families, in the unity of your governments, and in your relations with other peoples of the world. Now, let me say this too. When you see Jesus, I know people say it's Jesus, and I'm going to say Jesus Christus. I'm not going to say Yahshua Mashiach. I'm going to specifically say Jesus Christus. You know, so that is what the emperor said. You can interpret it. You may say, well, Jesus Christus is Jesus Christ in America. Well, I mean, I fight if that's what you think. Others don't think so. I'm going to say what the emperor say for that specific part. Good. There is no greater day. Let the emperor continue here. There is no greater day of gratitude and joy for Christians than celebrating the birthday of our Savior, Jesus Christus. Now, because that's what he said. And it was the 25th day of December, by the way. On this day of happiness, every Christian, by meditating on Jesus' life and the work he accomplished for all of us, tends to forget the trials he faces and the sadness that breaks his heart. Let me repeat that. On this day of happiness, every Christian, by meditating on Jesus' life, that is the life of the Christ, he said, and the work he accomplished for all of us, tends to forget the trials he faces. Oh, and the sadness that breaks his heart. Remember, he was in pain at that moment. as he was speaking. They were begging him, let's go back home. At the same time, everyone is inclined to minimize the trials and sorrows of his own, his kindred and friends, and forgive those who have grieved him. Since our childhood, our innermost thoughts have been overwhelmed by the mysterious deep spirit of the divine infant's birth. That's the Christ, which is not expressed, which is not only expressive, but also glorious and inscrutable. You can't say too much about that. Likewise, no matter what one's reputation, whether one's accomplishment is great or humble, tiresome or fruitless, in the journey of life, the mystery of Bethlehem dominates our spirit. And I remind you that Bethlehem is on the west side of the River Nile. Pardon me. Now, what I am saying here, I can, but we're not going into that. The king is talking about himself. He's talking about himself. Listen to me. They say that when they took him out of the palace in 1974 and he was in the Volkswagen, that was a sense of some level of shame from the carriage to the wagon. You hear them talk, so. Okay, I see what they're trying to say. That's the emperor. That's the emperor, you know. That's the emperor. The emperor cool, you know. The emperor go through what he have to go through. But the emperor not supposed to be in no taxi with three other, even if it's his brethren and the taxi driver. The taxi man talk, whoa, wow, I got to drive Haile Selassie, and you lick up the car. I don't know. I don't know who was wrong, and you know. The emperor not supposed to be in no taxi level. So he's showing you the level. That's what it is, eh? The level we talk about Christ, he's the Christ, brother. We talk about Savior, he's the God in flesh. The Most High in flesh. You see that God doctor, Odin, the Norse God of whatever he is, the sky. Negusanagas, Haile Selassie. You don't even have to say he's this and he's that. He's Haile Selassie. What I mean, well, power and might of the Holy Trinity. Sound good to me. I can work with that one. Yeah, Haile Selassie, that's all. He ain't this and he ain't God, ain't this and he's the Lord. He's Haile Selassie. Good enough, and there's nothing above. So for him to be in taxi and be fracturing knee bone. And as I said again, that was just a symbol of the greater aspect. Remember the king battling for the freedom of Ethiopia. The king didn't run from the battlefield. The king was on the battlefield, went and do the diplomatic thing, and went back to the battlefield to finish the job. What you talking about? And to me, it is clear that he's showing you there that he's directly equating it with the Christ figure. And this is the speech here that was being read. It may not have been sharing there. That would have been my mistake. That's for you to have follow along. But let me just leave it there for a moment while we seal this up. I'm sorry we're not following along with it. I just noticed I was sharing that screen specifically. It's all right. I'm sure you heard what I was saying clearly. Good. So there's a hymn we sing, eh? There is a green hill far away, and we give thanks for green Castle Hill. In fact, you know, yeah, I got to come forward here. There is a green hill far away without a city wall. We sing that. Where our dear Lord was crucified, who lived to save us all. We may not know, we cannot tell what pains he had to bear, but we know that it was for us that the Black Christ hung and suffered there. And this is why we say again, the 5th of May to the 5th of May is symbolic of that. The 5 bleeding wounds is just one of the symbols of that allegory of the 5 bleeding wounds being born. Them things still replicating themselves even up to this day. So do give thanks for such. Even during the Lenten period, these are things you penetrate on. When you burn your chalice, and so you penetrate on the suffering Messiah. That's what it's about. That's what it's called fasting and praying in the wilderness. That's why he said just before the crucifixion at the Last Supper, he said, whenever you eat and drink of the chalice, do it in remembrance of me. That's why chalice and boogie woogie, it's a meditation. It's going into, you know what I mean, Rastafari. Do it in remembrance of me. It's a holy thing. It's not recreation, it's recreation. It's a holy, 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 holy thing. We don't play with no chalice around here, no man. It's a holy thing. It's the Almighty you're going to meet. And it's also replicated too within that whole science of the 5 bleeding wounds. So yeah, that same green hill far away. Remember, for sure, I'm looking forward to all of you being a part of the whole spring equinox experience. Virtual edition is going to be wonderful. Also, remember that, oh yeah, very important, Saturday the 6th of March. Saturday the 6th of March, the Honorable Priest Kailash Leons will be with us. Definitely right here in the Tiger's Nest. I'm sure many of you will definitely would like to have an encounter. He'll be giving us a lecture too and a little presentation for sure, and it will be, you know, somewhat depending on the questions that those who will be paying for their ticket, you'll have a chance to leave a question with me. We will get it to the Honorable Priest, and he will put that somewhere in his presentation to ask or answer your question. And at the same time, he will be still addressing any question that comes in the hours that we have for that presentation there. So that is the 6th of March, 2021. That will be at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Caribbean time, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The admission is only $25, but you could, there's a $5 taken off if you get your ticket by the 27th day of February. Healthy living for both male and female, again presented by the Honorable Priest Kailash Leons, and that specifically will be an online lecture. Looking forward to seeing you there. Remember, you could utilize the Cash App at Honora 2723, and if there's some sort of problem with such, please give us a call at not call it, email priestisaac27@gmail.com. Down into radio mode there. Yeah, priestisaac27@gmail.com. Hey, if you know your Bible and you do not know your history, the knowledge of the Bible will become a mystery. And of course, it takes some real eyes to realize that are amongst us. Cut and clear, rent and tear. Holy Manuel I. Selassie I. Jah Rastafari.